Guys, it's John, and let's talk Vegas for a minute because every single day I do these videos, and also we're going to talk shamelessness, the epitome of shamelessness for a minute too. Something I found funny. But if you follow on Patreon, then you know every single day we do videos. Because a lot of people have been asking me lately when am I going to get back to NBA picks every day, and if I can cover tennis and all these different things. And I do my best to get the different sports out there. It'll be easier with the NFL down now, but I wanted to go into a system that, and again, I've ran it on this channel before. That's when I eventually switched it over to just basically the membership services. But it's, in my opinion, the only way to beat Vegas. And we're not going to win at a 60% straight up rate. So I wanted to go into that. And real fast, just the shamelessness aspect. Just something I found funny. Again, this stuff is brought to my attention. It's never even things that I go out of my way to look for. But here's our first. We'll go into this. Our NFL success. You can see we're up 26 units after the Super Bowl. So, and again, we didn't go nuts. Like we had a good picking season. Now this is still only since December 4th when I launched the Patreon. But even before then, we were picking very well, and you can see we did really well. You see hockey, we just did horribly bad, which is pretty funny because in order, it's like we basically got from the most to the least scripted. In that, like, hockey, I would think most people would agree. Kind of like baseball, just seems the least scripted. Maybe gematria and stuff, but as far as narratives and such. But anyway, did horrible with hockey, but again, did good with football. We're doing way better with the NBA than I thought. I haven't covered NBA in a little bit, but again, every night I do on Patreon and such. But even still, I didn't think we were that high on NBA, but we are. And college, we actually are doing great with college basketball. I don't know the exact count there, but again, I always thank Chris. He always brings this stuff to my attention. College basketball, I know we're in the positive, and college football we did pretty bad. And then that's tennis, I presume, tennis, golf, stuff like that. So anyway, we came into today up 41.25 units. I think we're going to be around 39 units. I think it's going to be very close to a break-even day. The shameless part. So Chris is always bringing stuff to my attention, and a lot of people that come to find my channel, they're from Jake the Nutjob. So the audacity. This individual made like 5 videos about us going to how we're exploits, all these different shenanigans. Meanwhile, we showed all the screenshots of him copying us and wanting to team up and thanking us for opening his eyes to metrics, etc., etc. So sure enough, a couple, like, I don't know, probably like 5 days ago at this point, someone's like, oh yeah, good old Jakey had the Chiefs, and then decided he was going to go with the Niners. So a bunch of people saw him put out a video about why the Niners were going to win, as Chris is pointing out. And you have 2 roads you can take in a situation like this. You can, like a normal person, admit, yep, I was wrong, oh well, we'll get him next year. Or like a complete delusional, out of touch individual who only cares about, again, just getting new people and hoping that the people that watch the channel don't understand. You can yank the video down of your wrong pick. So you could put out a pick for each side and then yank down the wrong one. I'll tell you, people say stuff to me about Zach Hubbard, but at least that guy, he'll play both sides from what I hear, but at least he uses his verbal gymnastics, however he goes about doing it, to make sure that people still remember which sides he took, even if he plays both sides. But to rip one side down, I found that pretty amusing, coming from a guy who, again, goes out of his way to make videos calling us an exploit after copying our picks. So anyway, I thought that was some fitting justice, and again, I expect no less from a slime ball like him anyway. But as you can see, we're up 41.25 units coming into today, which is good because, again, we built a really nice buffer. You can see we did great with the NFL, and we did the best of all sports with NBA, which, of course, we're going to be covering a lot going forward. But I literally post these for the people that ask for my daily picks every day, and we have the receipts. That's why people will message me with like the numbers that they got, and my numbers always match up with Chris and anyone else who shows where we're standing. But literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plays, college, NBA, tennis, you name it. We had Hercox, that was pretty obvious. A bunch of these. So anyway, I do cover these every single day for people that want to tail every pick. but I am going to try and do a better job. A lot of times I'll just put these videos on YouTube like I'll be doing with this one, but I'll try and do a better job of hitting all the NBA games going forward, just because I know people like to see that. So anyway, we'll have more time as well. I'll be going to the NBA playoffs extensively. I think we'll have a really, I'd wager to say we should do 50 units in basketball alone. We're already at plus 36, I think it was, and the playoffs sometimes are even more appealing because you got 7-game series and stuff like that. So, yeah, we should be, I think, close to 100 units by the playoffs. Right, again, we were right around 40 units in the positive. And again, this is just since launching on December 4th. I think I launched this, and every single day, no matter what, I'll find picks. So I always get like at least at the minimum like 5 picks out. Some days we're doing 20, 25 picks. Anyway, this is what we ran, and I went into this in my last video. And this is why I like the system. We can have bad days. We can have days where we don't do great. We'll usually wind up right close to even. And there's days where, again, we do really well. Obviously, we have really bad days like Super Bowl Sunday. And then we have really good days where we'll do, plus 12, all that stuff. And again, when we're doing mostly NBA college basketball, that's always a good thing. So we got the Hornets. They covered. They actually won. Of course, you never know when to take the money line. So put us up 2 units. Now we're down 2 units because we lost our leg 3 for 4 units. Hawks, weird team to pick, but as of late, they were coming through for us. Then we missed a few with them. So really just a kind of love-hate relationship with them. Hard read. Kind of like the Mavericks from last year, but they suck against the spread. So I think going forward, they're going to cover a good bit of spread. So -2, -4 because the Nuggets and Bucks didn't go over. I'll tell you what, the Jazz Warriors is probably going to be a loss, but as of when I started the video, I kept it in play, and I'll go into why in a second. So -4, -2 because Texas Tech covered. I like that Mahomes connection. I thought that was nice. And then puts it even with Lamar going under and Jackson State going under. So we're dead at even with 3 units in play. And again, by the time this video is done, you might have your result. But not even a week ago, I had gone into, okay, it looks like we lost the Jazz. They were playing the Suns. They were down a good 10 points. And when I had just checked, they were down 11 when I started this video going into the 4th. So, of course, they're probably going to lose. So that would put us at -2. And then the Clippers-Wolves would either be -1 or -3. So very close to even day. Obviously, we want to be in the profit every day. But as you can see, long-term, we're doing phenomenal. So it winds up being -1. We'll be at 40.25, plus 40.25 units since starting. Or at the worst, I think we'll be at 38.25 units since starting. But the Jazz, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a run against a team like the Warriors. It's definitely in the realm of possibility. Again, by the time this video's out, of course, you'll have your results. But before I started, I just checked the score, and it was like a 10, 11-point game, I think, just going into the 4th. And then we got the Clippers over, which very early on was pacing under, but of course, you never know what's going to happen in the NBA. So pretty close to a break-even day, and college basketball did really good for us, obviously. We were 3-0. Again, we did really bad with college football. That's why our college is in the negative, but our college basketball has been very good. I'd argue it's got to be probably, I'll have to check the exact notations. I'm not sure what Chris has. But we have to be like 10 units at least from college basketball, because I know we're in the minus in college football. We just had a rough year there. So the good thing is the NBA, NFL, well, NFL's over now, but NBA and college basketball, we're doing really good with, and we have basically those are our 2 sports going forward. So yeah, basically really close to a break-even day. Depending on how the Jazz finish, we could finish in the positive. We're at break-even right now with these 3 still finishing up. So we'll see how that goes. And here's tomorrow's plays. I got Kentucky, Mississippi going under 164.5. Kentucky is one of the best teams in the league, in the entire collegiate league, going over. But it's also set kind of high, so that's only going to be like 1 for 1 unit. And again, for legs, all it is we play a game. Like you see how we got over a leg once today, actually. Say the Clippers don't win, right? Well, that's 1 unit lost. So we'll play a leg 2, like I got Butler covering Marquette tomorrow, in place of that, right? So we lose the leg 1 for 1 unit. We play a leg 2 for 2 units. If we win, it's at least a +1 unit profit. And the distinction is after leg 3, so we go 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units, we're not going to chase this Hawks sequence. I did run a leg 4, for this Super Bowl game because I really did have conviction in the Niners. unlike some, I stuck by the conviction and didn't shamelessly pretend I never said it. But I really thought it was worth a leg 4. I really don't run them too much. You add it up, and if you lose a couple leg 4 sequences, that's 15 units. Way too easy to deplete the bankroll. So it's like a Martingale. Again, the difference is we're cutting it off after leg 3, 99 times out of 100. So anyway, we got the Kentucky Mississippi under tomorrow for 164.5, 1 unit. My favorite play of all for tomorrow is this second game, Air Force San Jose State. Air Force is 65% on the over, and San Jose State is 70-something% on the over. And again, I get it's probably because they're setting them low and they're going over. It doesn't matter. The public's going to see a over-under that's fit for a team like Dartmouth, who's at like 20% on the over. For 2 teams that go over all the time, I love this under. So that's going to be a leg 3 for 4 units. And again, the way that works is we'll basically plug that in for our Nuggets Bucks over miss. So we lost that leg 2. Air Force becomes leg 3 for 4 units. So it's level, leg, tier, whatever you want to call it, step. Just a system where we do 3. We do a play, a double up, and then we shut it down if they don't get it. I also got Air Force winning. It looks like a trap, and Air Force sucks against the spread, so they're only getting like 2.5 points. So yeah, they could cover, not win. But I'll go for the juice beater here and just take them to win. Buffalo, NIU, pretty good, and Buffalo just not too good at all against the spread. But in general, Buffalo they got 3 wins all year, and it's like a 6.5 point spread. So again, could definitely just be a spread cover here, but I think we're gonna have a good chance at a win. So I'll take that for the money line for 2.7 units. Again, just a 1 unit play. Butler cover Marquette is a trap. I'm not picking based off metrics. It looked like a trap, so I'm taking it for 2 units with the 3.5 points. Another 2 unit play. Vanderbilt just looks like they're not getting enough points here. I think they should be getting more against a pretty good Texas A&M team. So I'll take that plus 8.5. And I think more people are going to be on Iowa State. So I got Cincy covering them 1.5 for 2 units. Now to the NBA. We don't have a ton of NBA plays. And again, I'll do my best to get them out. But I always say this, and this is why I think the system's successful. I don't put any picks out that I don't personally play. So I'm not going to put out a pick just because I think, it's a fun game. It's just not what I'm going to do because, in my opinion, there's way too many good metric plays like that have been proven to put us up again. Average 20 units a month, nothing crazy, but not bad either. Most systems can't guarantee any kind of profit. So, right around, again, 40 units, and I think we're going to trend much, much upward towards the NBA Finals, but looking good. Maybe 77 by the Finals, isn't it? Or 78, is it the 78th year? So let's aim for 78 units by the Finals. But anyway, just not a ton, but I do like the Pistons to beat the Lakers. We just had the Hornets do one to the Pacers. They will pay them out, and this just seems like one that makes sense to me. The Lakers didn't make any postseason moves, really. So to lose to the Pistons, get LeBron all mad, screaming that they're not focused, whatever the case may be, makes a lot of sense to me. So the Pistons are going to get a surprise win. They're going to get a few more this year, of course. Lakers makes perfect sense, so I'll take the leg 1 for plus 550. Suns covering Kings, just 4.5. Again, I have been going into the narrative with the big 3 of the Suns, how as long as the big 3 play, they're going to make sure that they win more often than not. And I feel like this spread's a perfectly fair spread. I feel like that's where it should be. But, again, not really sure where the public's going to be, but I think they're going to give the Suns a little bit of a run here over the next couple, maybe even just straight into the playoffs, where they look really, in my opinion, formidable. So I'll take them for the coverage for a unit. And the Heat, I was just going to play this for a unit or 2, thinking, okay, not sure they have that playoff history. The Bucks have won both games this year. I think they played twice. They won both. The reason I love the Heat for 4 units is Jimmy Butler's not playing. And we remember what he did to the Bucks in the playoffs. People should be all over the Bucks seeing this, even the minus 6.5. So the fact we're only getting 6.5, I get Dame might not be playing, but think back to the playoffs, same rosters. I think Giannis didn't play, and the Heat were basically a pick'em. When Giannis was playing, you were seeing this kind of spread with Jimmy. So you take Jimmy out of the equation, it should be like a 10-point spread. So it just looks like a complete trap where they're probably going to make the Heat look pretty, in my opinion, worthy of making the playoffs even without Jimmy. Maybe Hero, some of these other guys go off. So I like the Heat. I love the Heat cover here for 4 units. Now we're on the tennis, and I got Evans. I don't even know his first name's Daniel, to be honest. I think it is, but it's D. Evans. But I'm pretty sure it's Daniel. I just know Jordan Thompson is way, from what I can tell, is one more. And, he's played with Djokovic and played him pretty tough. He's played some top players. Evans, from just when there's a guy in tennis, and we're doing pretty good with tennis this year, I know all the major circuit people, but when there's someone that I really haven't heard of, to be quite honest, or I've heard of them, but they're just always on the minors, doing big, like Duckworth and those guys, and they're playing someone that's, again, played, in my opinion, better opponents, I always just fade the person, like we do with Ons Jabeur all the time. We had Jabeur losing to Haddad. We were getting like plus 130. It looked like a trap. It's like they really sell outside of these major tournaments. So Thompson might win like a deal like he loses the first set 6-3, then gets a 6-4, 6-4, something like that. But I like Evans for the cover for the 2.5 games, just for 1 unit. These next two I like for 2 units. I like Serenko to cover Jobert. Jobert probably gets this win, but she probably sells the games. Again, she does that stuff all the time. They're kind of pushing some kind of struggle with her. I didn't look into the news, but I know she was heartbroken after losing her last matchup, and I don't think it was the match. I think it was something else. But either way, I think it's going to be close. She probably ekes out a 3-set win, or maybe a 6-4, 6-4 type deal. So I'll take the person I've never heard of, Serenko, here with the 4.5 games for 2 units. And Rybakina. I do know Rybakina pretty well. I have an idea of what they do with her. And when she's going to do good, she dominates tournaments. She's a lot like, who's the number 1 in the world? Sabalenka. She's a lot like her, where she'll just run through tournaments if she's going to win. If not, she sells pretty bad. So since Vegas likes her to win, I like her to cover the 6. She's actually getting like plus 110 for the -6. So if you'd rather go like -5 and get like, I don't know, minus 110, 130, whatever it would be. But -6 is basically the best even odds pick. Anything else like -5, you're going to be laying some juice. So I like Rybakina to cover Zoo here for -6. So for the people that ask for tennis, I looked through. There's like the Doba tournament. There's Del Rey. There's 3 tournaments for the men. There's like 1 for the women. And Coco's playing, but it's so early. By the time you guys get the video, she'll probably, you'll be asleep, and then she'll have played already. And I didn't really get a great read on that match anyway, to be quite honest. But we're going to fade Jobert. Probably wouldn't hurt to take her to lose, but I think she probably wins. Seems like they're setting some kind of story up for her. But I think she'll have struggles where she battles back from a set down, or, again, goes to a tie break, so we're going to get the cover, I think, pretty easily. But Rybakina, I like her to get that cover. And yeah, Evans is just a guy I kind of see hanging around, and he always seems to, he's one of those guys like Hercox, who just always seem to beat the bigger names. So whenever it's close like this, I think good chance again. Thompson might drop the first set, or we might see a 7-6, 7-6 deal, something like that. So yeah, I like that cover as well. So good bit of plays for tomorrow. We got 3 sports, 2 sports, college basketball, NBA, and we got the tennis plays. Obviously, going into the French Open, we're going to have a lot of fun plays. I think we'll do well with that. And especially because of the way they're pushing the young guys, Medi, Sinner, and Alcaraz, and really outside of him because he's established. So it's like Sinner, Medi, Rune, and we're trying to figure out who's going to be like the 4th guy, because you got to have a matchup for each guy. So you got Alcaraz, Sinner, you got Medi. Who's that 4th guy going to be? Is it Rune? Are they going to push someone else like they were pushing Eubanks for a bit? It'll be interesting to watch. It seems like they're getting behind Shelton too, so there'll be like a rotation of guys. But with tennis, it seems like they like to go 3s. Obviously, for the while, it was Rafa, Federer, and Djokovic. But you kind of had Murray, dipping his toes in there. So it could really be anyone. But I try and get ahead of the curve with all the sports, see who's being pushed. We called Coco being pushed as the next Serena because it was so obvious. That's why we had her winning the Open, even though she was the 3rd or 4th favorite to win it. She wasn't like an odds-on favorite. They had Sabalenka, I think Rybakina ahead of her. Jobert had like the similar odds to her, and we just saw the story a mile away. So tennis is another one. McEnroe he's like Romo. He gives away so much. Like you watch the match, and like 3 seconds in, he's like, oh, this guy's form is off. I think he's going to have a bad set, and sure enough, he will. Now, sometimes they'll come back, but he was really, Jokovic when he played center. We had center beating Jokovic and then beating Medi, which he did. Medi's birthday was on the Super Bowl, which was the only reason I was a little worried. But we did videos on both of those, and yeah, very early on, and he didn't even need to say anything, but it was the worst Jokovic performance I've ever seen. And McEnroe was talking about, oh, he's yelling at the bench, he's yelling at his camp. There's some kind of miscommunication. And he wasn't acting like he was going to come back, and he certainly didn't come back. He got one set, I think. So, yeah, I think we'll do good with tennis. Loving the Heat play. And again, Air Force San Jose. That one just, again, never heard of players, never heard of the teams. It's just a case of, well, I've heard of the teams, but I just don't know who's on any of these teams. 136.5. I would think that was an over. I had to double check to make sure that I wasn't looking at teams that sucked on the over, but no, they're teams that are really good on the over. Getting an over under of 136.5 just seems like a trap if I've ever seen one. So I think we'll have a good day tomorrow. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I think it's pretty funny. We got, again, goons out there calling us exploits and liars and all this stuff when we have receipts upon receipts. And now I'm finding out, and it's not the first time it's been brought to my attention, but for the Super Bowl, to play both sides and then delete the losing pick, I think is just pretty laughable. So what happens is you have a bunch of new people come in, and the dude's, and he's not wrong because it will work to an extent, but he's so delusional. He just assumes, okay, people are going to come in, they won't worry about that last video, I'll pump out some more, and people will forget that I ever deleted that video. But for the people watching, they're like, okay, now things are making sense. We see this person for who he is. So the guy just continues to make a clown of himself. He's made all these videos about us, and the reason we haven't need to make one about him is because he makes a great clown of himself on a daily basis. People bring things to my attention that I just laugh at, although I'm never surprised. And then when he gets unhinged, it's another story. So I thought that was kind of comical. People would be like, man, doesn't this annoy you? And I'm like, how can it annoy me at this point? The dude's done everything. Like, there's no, I said it before, there's just no shame, which is fine, We like to at least have a moral compass here, so, yeah, when we lose, we're going to admit it to it. But as far as winning, we've been doing a great job. Another reason, I think a lot of these other guys might be controlled oppo. We've provenly beaten Vegas for, if you've been watching the channel, since the first one got Thanos snapped, then you can attest to this. Since we've started, anything we put on YouTube, as far as the system's been up, up, up. I think I have like 100 and something videos in a playlist on YouTube that does exactly what I'm doing here. Maybe not as many plays. It's more plays, but I didn't go into all the college and all that. And I don't know. I stopped counting over 100 units, and that's when I launched it on here because I'm like, well, the people that really want to just tail all the picks, the ones that don't care about tennis, and I get it, don't care about college basketball, low ranked schools. They're just want to watch YouTube videos about the NFL, the NBA. That's why I left that on there. For the most part, I put a golf video out, like basically going over my system using golf and all these different sports. A lot of people just aren't interested, which I understand, I respect. That's why I put it on here. But I will be able to cover more of the NBA on YouTube and such, and other sports. But for everyone tailing, like I said, I'm happy that we're coming through, looking really good on the year. And with NFL season ending, I think, again, plus 26 units, definitely good. It would have been nice to run this the whole season. Again, bear in mind, we started this like playoffs, like towards the playoffs. I think when the playoffs started, maybe a couple weeks. Yeah, it was a couple weeks before the playoffs started. So if we ran it all year, I have no doubt we would have done 100 units in the NFL alone. But we did 26 in less than a quarter of a year, so that's great. We're up 36 something units in the NBA, and obviously I haven't even gone nuts in the NBA as far as playing all the games. So we're doing really, really good. And we dumped hockey, which is great, and that's why we're up 40 units. If I continued playing hockey, who knows how much that would have damaged the bankroll, but I admittedly don't know hockey. The people that do comment about hockey, I always just say, hey, listen to those guys, because they know way, way more than me. Something about hockey just doesn't, I'm not seeing hockey well. So the good thing is, again, both basketballs we've done tremendous with, and that's going to be most of our picks, that and tennis going forward. So yeah, that's basically it. Today's basically a very low day either way, whether it's going to finish in the negative or positive. And tomorrow I think we're going to have a nice day, just because, I love seems like two perfect traps. I can't imagine we don't split these at the least with the Heat game and the Air Force under. I think we're going to get them both, which would be great. Again, you get two leg threes, that's 8 units. It would take a lot of losses to mitigate that, to negate that. So, again, I think we're going to have a good day tomorrow. And today was pretty close to even. Again, could be -3, could be +3, probably not. Probably finishes like -1, which we get a lot of very close days. So, tomorrow hoping we can get back to like double digit profit. Again, never easy, but we've done it quite a bit of times. We usually do like 6 to 8 units, I'd say, on like the average day. We'll average like between 6 and 8 units in the net. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I like when we have a couple different sports because it just lets us, again, pick our spots in each sport. And I think we'll do good with that as well. So take care and happy earnings.